Yeah, get that out of here.
Fuck, what a horrible movie. Oh, you know what we need to do?
We need to play Walking with the Dinosaurs by Was Not Was.
No, we need to say we did. Let's not say we did.
What?
We need to start our show, start the podcast with, how we introduced it.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's talk about these movies. Let's get this shit over with first about this stupid fucking pastor movie, and then we'll talk about the good movie. How's that?
Okay, yeah. You done with your body functions?
Maybe not. I don't know.
After losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. And that's the story. Yeah. And you are listening to...
We haven't even introduced ourselves.
Oh.
Come on. You are out of touch.
I thought
with what we're doing. Do you not know how this show goes?
Greetings! This is David DePay from Burgess Jail, and you are listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Stay tuned for more metal and horror. Yow!
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
And I am Bloodletter. And sometimes it comes out water if the blood is fully drained. Like it did in the Velocipastor. And you
are listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kiddies. I would really, really like to say we had two good movies to talk about tonight, but we don't. We've got one. We've got a good movie to talk about, but we also have a shit pile of a movie to talk about, which I thought would be good. I really did think it would be good, but no. We
somebody lied to us.
Yeah. We watched.
We won't mention her name.
Who said it was good?
I won't mention her name.
Bloodletter. Someone said this would be good. We watched the Velocipastor, and Ravenous. Now I love Ravenous, but we're going to talk about Velocipastor first. Because I thought, this would be funny. 2018, that's a funny concept. Pastor turns into a dinosaur, a man of the claw. But the best thing about this movie is the the DVD artwork.
The dinosaur is only like 5'8", 5'9" tall.
Yeah, it's not a big dinosaur.
That's a good thing for
it's a tiny dinosaur. Now on IMDb it says it's a comedy. It is not. A comedy means that's funny. Well, technically comedy means it's going to have a happy ending because it's drama. There's only two, comedy and tragedy. Tragedy, everyone dies. Comedy, happy ending. This is not funny. I think there were two lines that were, okay, that's good. But the guy who wrote this, Brendan Steer, same guy who directed it. He also did Animosity, which I've not seen. Jesus, he's got a lot of stuff that he's written. Wonders of Love, Dead by Dawn, Re-Dead. He's a producer,
there's a reason
director.
why we haven't heard of him.
Yeah, it's a shit. Brendan, your screenplay wasn't funny. I know it was intentionally trying to be funny, but if you're going to do a bad movie, then it should be a funny bad movie. You should at least put a few jokes in. Try a little bit, you know. Try.
Not just the laughing of ha ha ha
Yeah.
ha
Ha ha ha. Are you okay? Are you okay with this arrow stuck through your chest? Are you hurting? Yeah. The excessive laughter, not funny. Just really not funny at all. Yeah, this priest gets this dinosaur tooth, turns into a dinosaur.
He went to China, somebody's backyard.
He's in China. Yeah, it was like someone's
in
backyard was
in a
China.
Chinese forest. It
And
doesn't even have bamboo in it. Just
no,
trees.
it had an Asian woman running through it, dressed, very offensively and with her hair braided. So that makes sense, of course, because you have to. You're in China.
And she got shot by an arrow.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, this was pretty bad. Now,
are you okay?
IMDb compares this to movies like Lamageddon, which I've not seen. I need to. And Zombievers. Zombievers was actually fairly entertaining. I've not seen Ouija Shark, although it gets a 1.8. I may have to look for that.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. I've seen the trailer for that. That looks pretty good.
I'm down for that.
Trolls 2, 2.9. This is way worse than Troll 2. I mean, Troll 2 is horrid. One of the worst movies ever, but it's so bad that it's wonderful. Speaking of Bloodletter, you've never seen it. We're going to watch it. I'm going to invite the guy who was in Troll 2. I'm going to invite him on the show. Talk to him.
In what? Trolls 2?
From Troll 2, the guy who stars in it. Yeah.
Do you know
anyway, Brendan Steer, bad job, man.
He only spent,
this cost $35,000. I want to know where. There's no way in the world this movie should have cost $35,000. My last movie cost me $135, and I think way better. But that was including buying a green screen. Well, we'll watch it one day. Question Uranus. It should be up here. No. I really had hopes for this. I think that's why I'm so disappointed with it, because I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be funny. They know they're doing something ridiculous, but they don't really do anything ridiculous about it. They're trying to carry on some semblance of a real storyline that really doesn't go very far. I mean, it involves pimps and hookers, and the Velocipastor is going to take out the bad guys. He has this relationship with a prostitute, the hooker with the heart of gold.
How do the ninjas get involved with the priest if they're in China? And
I think because the flashback showed that the priest was in China with the army. Wasn't that right?
Oh yeah.
I was kind of zoning out with them at that time.
Yeah. Well, I did find a trivia fact.
Please trivia us away.
It said during the flashback war sequence featuring Father Stewart, there was a quote on the shed behind him, which reads, "The world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams.
It's heaven and hell." That's the lyrics from Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath.
Yes, and the guy said, the person who ever wrote this was like, I'm not sure if it was intentional or what relation it has to the film, but it is present and fairly legible. So I think there was a lot of things in there that just didn't make sense. Like
a lot of the movie didn't make sense.
Wasn't a clear storyline. Like when what was his name? What was the pimp's name? Mermaid. Frankie Mermaid. Mermaid, because he had
Mermaid.
Because he
swims in an ocean of tail, ocean of prostitutes,
women,
pussy,
or something like that. Yeah, but when he goes into the confessional and just confesses to the priest that he blew up his parents. Well, he didn't know he blew up his parents, but
the priest's parents.
It was like, why would a pimp just randomly walk into any church and say, "Hey, I blew up this car"?
Yeah, I gotta confess. Right.
I think if he would have said that he followed the hooker around and saw the priest with her, then I could see that. Yeah. Like, you owe me my money, or something like that. But clear.
Yeah, it was kind of goofy. Why was he there? Makes no sense. I did like the prostitute, Alyssa Kempinski. I thought she did a fine job. And I'm looking over her IMDb now, and she's got some other things I'll watch her in. Her first credited role is from 2010. I Clean Up Your Grave, and she's listed as Pillow Fighting Babe 2.
Oh,
So I am totally gonna watch that. Yeah, but Velocipastor, the thing is, it just doesn't accomplish much. Like how would
almost
I
seemed like
rate
they
the
were.
Velocipastor? I'm gonna give this a 1 star.
I'm gonna give it a half a blood
I
drop.
don't think I can give it 1.
Yeah, and I'm like 0.25 blood drops. I don't know.
Oh no, I won't give it any limp dicks. No
Maybe it
blood
needs
drops.
to.
Half a blood drop. The only reason why it's gonna get a blood drop or half a blood drop is this.
Oh,
And
Adeline was her name, right? The Father Stewart's girlfriend. She stepped on the IUD.
oh yeah, she's useless. Useless. The fight scene at the end when you finally see the full dinosaur suit, that's funny. That's really funny. But it's way too little, too late by that time. It's just unfunny. By then, I was bored. I was ready to get out of it. For a movie that's only an hour and 10 minutes, it feels long. It's like, oh God.
The
It's not
dialogue
like,
is really slow. Like even when they're just talking to each other, that's just super
there's
slow for.
nothing particularly original about it. Their attempts at humor just fall short everywhere. And I wanted to like this. The best thing about the movie is the artwork that whoever made for the DVD or whatever, that looks pretty cool. But it just badly done. And for a movie that cost $35,000, I don't know where the fuck they spent it. So Brendan, if you're out there, tell me where the fuck you spent this $35,000, because I'm not seeing it. That dinosaur suit could have been more than a few $100, and what else are you paying for? Craft services? I mean, seriously, you had some blood, would you spend $100 in blood? Okay. You had a mannequin head that you put some nose, eyebrows and a mustache on, and you pulled off a dummy. What'd that cost you? $10?
I think you're
And
saving all the blood for that scene because then it was just like it was like
yeah, so
blood,
you're
blood,
in
blood,
$100
and then
for the
it
dinosaur
looked
suit,
like water towards the end.
$100
He's
for
having
more
such a-
blood and a spray, $10 for dinosaur head. Okay, $210. I still think it's about $110 over budget. This movie should have cost $100. All of it going toward blood and dinosaur. Yeah, I wanted to like it. That's the sad part. It's not that it's so bad it's good. It's just bad, and it's not funny. Yeah, it's just kind of a boring bad movie, and unfortunately, so I had high hopes for it. The idea of it was great, but it really just fell short, pretty much everywhere. So, hey, if you want to come on and talk about your movie, I welcome you on. That's fine.
Oh, that would be
I don't
fun.
know you about it. I don't know you. I'm not trying to tear you down, man, but the movie's just on good. And same thing with Alyssa Kempinski.
She did do
All
good
that.
acting.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie Mermaid was over the top.
Yeah, awful.
Certainly, yeah, pretty
They
bad.
try to make him into the typical pimp with the
yeah,
long hair and then the big bald spot on the top.
yeah, it was bad. And then you got Aurelio Voltaire was Altair. He showed up in his Chris Angel Mind Freak look, but with exaggerated makeup, just with the pointy ears, yeah, just on good. That's all I have to say about it. So Anything else you want to say about this Bloodletter?
Yeah, don't waste your time.
Yes, I agree. I agree
Just know
100%.
what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Watch it double time.
Yeah. Fortunately, we have another movie that we are going to discuss, which is way better. I love this movie. I think it's one of my favorites. Just the casting is great. But before we get there, we're gonna do Ravenous.
Mhm.
You are who you eat. And if you've not seen Ravenous, the basic premise, or do you want to do the summary, Bloodletter? Would you like to do that? You're often our summary person.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
just
trying
looking
trying
for
to
it. Okay.
find it right here. Yeah.
Okay. Now IMDb only gives us a 7 out of 10. That's just ridiculous. I'm gonna
That's the
read
one I
it.
was gonna read. Okay. In a remote military outpost in the 19th century, Captain John Boyd and his regiment embark on a rescue mission, which takes a dark turn when they are ambushed by a sadistic cannibal.
All right. Yeah. And now the writer is Ted Griffin. He has written other movies, Ocean's 11, Matchstick Men. He did The Shield. So Tower Heist. He's done some other really good stuff. It's a really smart script. It's got a wickedly dark sense of humor. And
Mm-hmm.
the casting is fantastic. Guy Pearce, Robert Carlyle, David Arquette, Jeremy Davies, Jeffrey Jones, John Spencer, Stephen Spinella, Neil McDonough. I wrote Neil McDonough, by the way,
Oh,
because
did you?
yeah, I like him. I like his acting. Ever since this is the first movie I saw him in, I thought he's got the chops. He's got the looks to be a star. And he
Mhm.
was in Band of Brothers. He's in a new sci-fi, or he's in the new American Horror Story now. So Neil McDonough, if you're out there, come on the show, man. I think you're really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woodletter would love to hang out with you.
Yes.
She likes Dave DeFay. Um, and so,
I
and then
really liked Robert Carlyle too. Like
yes,
his acting
he
was
as Colonel Ives or Calhoun.
phenomenal.
Yes,
Hmm.
he's what makes this movie for me. Guy Pearce plays the rather unwilling cannibal, and it's connects not only to cannibalism, but it's tied to the mythology of the Wendigo, the Native American myth of the northern woods of Minnesota, the Ojibwe tribe, and other tribes have this myth of the Wendigo, this spirit or someone who's possessed by a spirit, and it could be a monster. It's usually a tall monster. It's usually gaunt and has this desiccated skin pulled over its bones. Um, and then what happens is it's a ravenous kinds of spirit. It devours people. So if you're possessed by it or it eats you, basically there's this vampiric quality to it. You
Yeah.
eat someone, usually your enemy, you absorb all of their power, and you take on their health. But you have a different appetite afterwards. All you want is human flesh. And so you eat
And you
more and
want it
more.
more.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
makes you stronger and stronger. Because there's that great scene where Ives gets shot and he gets up, full blank shotgun, right, sits up and laughs. So it must give you superhuman strength. But yeah, Robert Carlyle, great actor. I really like him. Robert Carlyle, hey, if you're listening, come on, man. We'd love to have you on the show. I should
Yeah.
reach out to him about this movie. Why not? And so, yeah, Robert Carlyle is fantastic. The cast is really, really good, but he's delicious in this.
He
Great
really is.
lines. Yeah, and embraces this vampiric, cannibalism, because his character was dying of tuberculosis and he was really on his way to die when he heard about this myth and started eating people, and now he's nearly superhuman. And the film is beautifully shot, and cannot say enough about the score. And let
Yes.
me,
Love
uh,
it.
yeah, it didn't make. Oh shit! It didn't make any money. Well, fuck, that's too bad. Cost
What
$12
the?
million to make and only grossed $2 million. I saw it in the theater. I thought it was delightful. That was fantastic.
See, I don't remember it coming out of. I
Yeah.
don't remember it being in the theater.
The score, which was written and performed by Damon Albarn and Michael Nyman.
Okay.
And the score was not actually a collaboration, according to Nyman. Ravenous was a joint composition in the sense that Damon Albarn composed 60% of the tracks and I did the rest. That's what he said. So, and Nyman was playing banjo on it, that Hail Columbia. You get that kind of weird plucking banjo. Michael Nyman is the guy who did the music for movies like The Piano, which is a really beautiful score. But Damon Albarn, he did, what did he do? Other kinds of music. Oh, he's also in the Gorillaz. Huh, interesting. Yeah. Anyway, the score is fantastic. It's done with traditional instrumentation, really kind of bizarre at times, very moody, atmospheric, just like the movie. You know, 1847, 1848, and the Sierra Nevadas. So you have this gorgeous, beautiful scenery. I really like Neil McDonough plays this soldier, tough as nails, and there's an intensity.
Jeffrey Jones played Colonel Hart.
Yep.
And he was also in a ton of movies. And I always liked him in his, I liked a lot of his characters that he plays in the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was also in Ferris Bueller. He was also in Beetlejuice. But this movie has there's a lot of gore and violence, a lot of humor.
Yeah.
And it tends to be a very divisive movie, I think it's quite, the humor is up because in the very beginning, the film opens with this quote by Friedrich Nietzsche, Nietzsche, that he that fights with monsters should look into it, that he himself does not become a monster. And then after that, this quote pops up, "Eat me," and you kind of know from the bat.
It's like anonymous.
Right. You kind of know from the bat, okay, there's going to be some humor in this. And it works really well for this movie, but it's not so overly done that you take this as a comedy. It's a wickedly dark undercurrent of some humor in it. A little bit comes from the characterizations, but I feel like I've just rambled on Bloodletter. I want to hear more what you thought about it.
I really like it because I like the folklore of it all, and that's one thing I always like is, just the different beliefs of different people,
Mm-hmm.
So then it was, you kind of laugh because you're like, oh, it's like a Western cannibals show, it's just like, and you never think about cannibalism back in that time, or
Mm-hmm.
to use that folklore into the story. I thought was great because you usually see modern times or postmodern times, futuristic films with zombies and cannibals and stuff like that. So it was neat that it was kind of wrapped up in a Westernish type feel to it.
Well, we also have the Sierra Nevada mountains where we have the Donner Party. The famous story of the Donner Party resorting to cannibalism on their way to the Promised Land in California. We have this. We have that. I think it's probably some of the basis for this story in a way, other than the Wendigo. But the Donner Party is a very famous example of early on of the settlers resorting to what they had to do, to live.
I wasn't aware of that.
Well, there you go. There's a little bit of history for you, Bloodletter. Yeah, so there you go. It's very exciting.
And I like how he just comes into the camp, and he's, he's such a good actor, because he can play that like dumb, like, oh, like they're gonna go eat her, we need to come. And then he starts, when they hit the cave, when he starts acting very primal, as they're
Mhm.
searching the cave and trying to figure it out, and then you're like,
He starts making that
what's
weird.
wrong with him? Yeah,
His hands are
yeah,
flicking. He starts digging like a dog,
dog,
like
and
digging up
yeah,
something. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and I love that the pit scene where they get in there and they're like, wait a minute, how many people were in there? And they're like, 6, and then he's like,
Mhm.
uh-oh. And then they're like, realize he's not who he says he is, that
Mhm.
he's the cannibal. And then just for him to come back as a colonel, and just psychologically torture, trying to I can't think of Guy Pearce's character name in the movie. What's
Guy
his name?
Pearce.
Yeah,
His character is John Boyd, Captain Boyd.
okay, so yeah, so then he's like torturing Captain Boyd, and nobody's believing him that he's a cannibal and he killed everybody else and stuff like that. So when Colonel Ives comes back, I think he does a wonderful job of messing with
Yeah, closes the
what's his
book
name?
real quick and startles him because he's trying not to sleep. And yeah,
Yeah,
and then at the end where he's like, "You're gonna either join us," because the whole idea of we're gonna become cannibals in this place. We're gonna kill, discriminately. People come through here on their way to the promised land. We won't kill everybody, And he's like, Lord knows we don't want to break up families, and
right.
little lines like that. Or he's looking through the telescope at the soldiers who are coming. The general, he's like, breakfast, lunch,
Lunch,
reinforcements,
dinner. Oh,
and I think my favorite line is when they're sitting around and they're eating the stew. Was it the Knox, a la Knox? After they kill the veterinarian doctor, they're eating his stew when Henry Boyd's sitting there because Ives just stabbed him a couple times. He's like, you're gonna die here, or you're gonna eat and become one of us. And they're eating the stew, and he's like, Benjamin Franklin said, "Eat to live, don't live to eat." Huh?
yeah.
And the way he says it, to deliver that line, I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, this is brilliantly done. And it really falls on Carlisle. I think he really carries the movie. And I think it's why I really started liking him, because I didn't know who he was until this time. I hadn't watched his stuff, but my God, that's great. I'd love to just talk with him about this movie alone, see what he remembers about it. But
Yeah.
yeah. And then from what I understand, the very end, not to spoil it, but Ives delivers a line that was really sneaky. And from what I get, that was ad-libbed, because he starts laughing, and that laughter was like, but Guy Pearce is maintaining character. He's not like laughing, but I heard that was an ad-lib. They just kept it
Okay.
going. Like, it's a beautiful ad-lib, as they're sitting there dying. That
It
was
really is. And you know what? And I think it's okay that he laughed in it, because it was almost like a sarcastic laugh, which,
Mhm.
Because he tells the guy too at the end, he's like,
Yeah.
well, either you die first and I eat you,
Yeah.
or I die first and what are you going to do?
Right. He's like, if you die
So,
first, I am so eating you. It's
right.
like, yeah, 'cause that's what I love about it. He embraces it. It's like, this is how it is. I was going to die. I got a second chance at life. And for all intents and purposes, he's like a vampire in a way,
Right.
and it's like watching the beautiful vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and here's one of Keanu Reeves' only really bad performances. And he's like whining about being a oh, these vampire women, oh, they train me every night. Like, really? That's a problem? That's like dream come true. Hello, hashtag dream come true. And who doesn't want to be a vampire? And in this case, they're cannibals. But you get all the strength. Everyone you eat, you get their strength. And it has a great scene of cigar smoking. I pay attention to that when I see people smoking cigars in movies. I just love that because, and the sound, you can hear the puffing of the cigar, you can hear the crackle of the cigar as it burns, and I love that. They really amped up the sound. I mean, there's just some little details like that that I think are amazing. And yeah, it's just everything about this movie I like, and I know people who hate it with a passion. I'm like, why? What do you, what? It's a good movie, but I love it. It's in my upper tier, upper echelon of movies that I could pretty much watch anytime and get something new out of it, exciting about it, whether it's the music or the dark humor. I just love
really
it.
like the music of it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got the
And
soundtrack.
yeah, after I watched it, I was very excited about it. I was like, oh my gosh! But I guess I didn't really understand, like, because he kept telling Boyd, like, or no, God, I can't remember their names.
Boyd's Guy Pearce. Ives is Robert
Okay.
Carlyle.
So yeah, he's telling Boyd, you're one of us,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of disappointed because it took me till after the movie finished to realize, like, how he, I'm like, how did he become one of them? Well,
Oh,
what is he talking about?
mm-hmm.
And then I realized when he was at the bottom of the pile, and then I was like, oh,
Right, because he feigned death. See, that's what Guy Pearce. He's a soldier and has this moment of cowardice where he doesn't. He pretends to be dead, so they throw him in a pile and all these dead bodies on top of him. And when he wakes up, this man above him is draining into his body, leaking blood, and it's in his mouth, and that's what gives him the strength to overtake, the enemy, single-handedly. Kind of took over the whole fort. So they couldn't really punish him for his cowardice. So they gave him they sent him out to, Fort Spencer to be out there,
right.
Yeah. And the scenes of them, like at his celebration dinner, they're all like cutting into these big slabs of meat. You hear the forks and the knives on the china or on the plates. It's a very noisy, messy looking pieces of beef, all loose and bloody, with the bone in the center of it.
Yeah, and everybody else is digging into the steak, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why aren't you eating?" So, do you think he realized he was a cannibal then? Maybe.
I think so, because by the time that Calhoun gets to the camp, and he was talking about that, because he's the one, when they were looking for the cave, he asked him, can I ask you a question? This after you had the man's blood, did you feel any differently after you ate the people? And because I think he noticed that in himself, he's trying to fight it, he's trying to deny it because he doesn't want to be a cannibal. But so I think it's just born on him, so he's just projecting that life, and whereas Robert Carlyle's embracing it, as like a second lease on life, and even better than he had before.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about it. That's what I love about this movie. Oh, what else do you want to say? Anything else you got to say?
No, I really like the movie, and I like it when they don't really, specify, like, oh, he's a vampire, or and stuff like that. But it's kind of disappointing at the end when they were in that, when they're both like stuck in the trap together, and then Mary didn't even try to help anybody. She was just like, nah.
Well, no, because he asked, how do you stop the Wendigo? He asked her, and she's like, you can't, you have to kill it. You have to kill yourself. And essentially what she says, you have to stop that, because she recognized in him, same thing with her brother, that
it was him.
He was also the Wendigo. He had done this.
Okay.
So I think that's why she didn't, because she knew that's what he wanted. And she thought, well, here's how we stop the Wendigo. Although the irony is, the one general who shows up, there's a big pot of stew a la Knox cooking on the fire, and he takes some sips of it. It's like, well, there we go, start all over again.
Right.
But I think that's a reasonable way to become, gather that strength. Unlike a vampire, you don't have to bite anybody. And
yeah,
I think if, given the chance, I would. Why not? You know,
Yeah. It's not
kill your
as
enemy, you
messy.
gain their strength. Yeah. I guess like, well, they were out there and they were cooking it. So as long as you could like make stew and stuff.
Yeah, hacking them up like nothing.
Yeah.
It's just chopping up the body.
I guess, I
For the
don't know, I
stew.
got wonky kidneys, but maybe though, I wouldn't have wonky kidneys if I started eating people.
Give it a whirl.
No,
you need to start eating that bitter melon. That's what you need.
I've been taking it. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Notice any difference?
Not really. I'm only taking one a day, so maybe I need to take 2, but I'll keep on letting you know if I notice anything. I haven't gone to the doctor or anything.
Yeah.
There's no cannibal doctor out here, so I have to go to Cleveland for that.
Oh man.
I know. So, well, I think we've said what we need to say. If you've not seen Ravenous, you are in for a treat because you'd never seen it, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it. No, it was a really good movie. I really like it.
Yeah. And I try not to steer you wrong with it. I had not seen Velocipastor, and I will never see it again. But Ravenous,
I agree.
Yeah, I will watch 50 times. Ravenous, I will totally watch it again. It's just a really good movie with great performance.
That was made in like 1999.
1999, right? So let's see what Robert Carlyle is up to these days. He's from Glasgow, and he's 60 this year.
The Scotsman.
Yeah, he's on Cobra TV series. He was in War of the Worlds yesterday. Once Upon a Time, he was in Train Spotting. He does the Castlevania. He was the voice of Dracula, the video game. He was in Stargate Universe, 24 Redemption. He's been all kinds of stuff. He's probably way too classy to come on our show, but I'd certainly love to have him on because he's been acting since 1988.
Bigby in Train Spotting, yes.
Yeah. So
quirky character.
Robert Carlyle, if you're out there, come on the show, man. Give me a call.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So I guess we need to think about getting out of here, and let's read the stuff. We didn't read it last time. You can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. You can listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. And there's our brand new YouTube page. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. Tell them to subscribe. We're right here. So you've been listening to Montag, Master of Illusion.
And Bloodletter.
And
you laughing at me?
Huh? No, I was coughing.
Laughing at me? Oh.
I didn't want to cough in your ear. There, that's what I did. I don't laugh at you, not in front of everybody.
Just making
Everybody's going to laugh at you. It's like the end of Carrie. Next thing comes a bucket of blood. Oh, the bloody cross.
See, look, I got my halo right there.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Lucifer is an angel too. My favorite angel.
Eyeball.
There you go. Well, this has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
Bloodletter.
And you've been listening to Heavy Metal
Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.